A good Erev Shabbos, everybody. Ephraim Schwartz calling you here from Eretz Yisrael. It's a beautiful day outside, and you can see from inside my window, but it's cold outside. Sweatshirt and all. And the Schwartz table is already set, so nicely for Shabbos. Everybody's still sleeping in my house. I think they were up till 3 in the morning, not me. So a little quieter than usual. Talk to you a little bit about Parshas Bo. But let's start with a joke. I mean, it's an old joke, but I think it's extremely relevant. It's an idea that I think a lot of us have played with over the year that we've been through the pandemic that we've been through. But it's about this rabbi that comes into a shul. He's a traveling maggid, and he goes from community to community and tries to inspire people. And he has his fire and brimstone drushas, and he goes into this community, finds out what the problem is, and he goes, and anybody that doesn't fix this matter, let's say it's talking in shul, then they'll be punished and they're going to be destroyed. And people are getting nervous. And there's one guy that's sitting there in the front of the shul, and seems pretty chilled. He looks all right. And this really irks the rabbi that is giving this drasha. And he continues, and and if you continue to go in these evil ways, then their family will be punished, and the whole city will be destroyed. This is a plague, and it's a destruction on the community, and it says something about the entire community and the entire city that this goes on. And this man is just sitting there. Do you know what can happen? It'll be like Sodom and Gomorrah that'll come, and the fire and the brimstone will come down and destroy. And he's just smiling and chilled, and nothing's happening to him. And finally, at the end of the drasha, the rabbi is unsuccessful. He goes over to him and goes, "I don't understand. What did I say that didn't, couldn't move you to go ahead and to change your ways?" And he said, "Actually, I'm not from this community." So everything he said talked about this community. I'm not from here. I'm from out of town. Certainly, obviously, the rabbi's message is that it applies to you as well, whether you're from here or not. I thought about that this week particularly because I think that, like all good jokes, they're really based in the Torah. And there's a fascinating medrash on this week's Torah portion that is pretty much this idea, but I think it takes to an even deeper level. The medrash says Moshe Rabbeinu comes, it's the last plague, the plague of darkness is over, and Moshe Rabbeinu tells Paro Vayu that the firstborns will die, and there'll be a tza'aka gedola b'chol eretz Mitzrayim. There'll be a large cry in all of the land of Egypt. And the Medrash HaGadol says an interesting story. He says, Yotzes Kena Achas, one old lady came out. Amar, she says to Moshe Rabbeinu, Navi Shekerata, you're a false prophet. Zakena, because I'm an old lady. She'ein la loav, I don't have a father, I don't have a mother, I don't have a brother, I don't have any sisters, I don't have any children. Ami titzak, why should I cry? Moshe Rabbeinu hears what she says, and she says, Avoda tiktom tza'akos seich litza'akosam. You will be the first one to cry when this happens. Amr, they said, Ben Echad Hayalash. She had one son, and that child died previously. And what did she do? Asa diyukna. She made his image, the lush that she would make cakes b'dmus b'na, in the image of her son. B'chol yom v'yom achar shocheles v'shosas. Every day she would eat. She would get up and she would start dancing in front of these image that she would made for her son. To remember. But also, Lila, that night at Chatzos, Bo Aklovim, the dogs came and they destroyed that image. And she was crying and screaming, her last remnant of her son, in order to fulfill the pasuk, that there will be a great cry in the land of Mitzrayim, in all of the land of Mitzrayim. So it's an interesting medrash. It's an interesting medrash, meaning that you can't escape, you can't run. When I say it's going to happen to all of you, it's going to happen to all of you. And that's certainly the simple, as I said, it goes back to that joke. But there's something deeper than that as well, because Moshe Rabbeinu just doesn't tell her, you're going to also cry. He says, you're going to cry first. Takdim tza'akosech l'tza'akosam. You're going to be the first one to cry. And, we have an opposite concept. There's an incredible organization that was started that call him Espal Ba'ad Chavero Hu Ne'eneh Kodim. Somebody that davens for their friend, he will be answered first. If you have something and you need it, find somebody else to daven for them for that thing, and then you'll be the first one to be answered. Hashem will answer you first. We find that there was this organization that was actually started. People that needed a shidduch, or people that needed children, that didn't have children, they would daven every single day for somebody that needed a shidduch. And this organization actually made shidduchim between singles and families that were waiting for children. And each one would be praying for the other one. And sure enough, hundreds of shidduchim came out of this organization with the people that were davening for one another based on this concept. Meaning that we have empathy for others, then Hashem will answer our tefillahs first. The prayers that we have for somebody else can be more powerful than those that we even have for ourselves. And I think many of us recognize that. I don't think there's anything more that Jewish people do than daven for another. I don't think there's another nation. Everybody else pays lip service to the concept. Our thoughts and prayers are with you in this difficult time. But do they actually pull out a Sefer Tehillim and daven? Right? Something that the Jewish people always do is that we daven for other people. We actually do have them in our prayers, because we actually do pray, which is unlike most other people. We do it 3 times a day. Not only do we 3 times a day, but we say Tehillim, we add things in, we get days of prayer, and we're big prayers. That's really what we are as a nation. We daven for other people, and those prayers that we have for another people are the prayers that ultimately come back and will help us. I always felt that, it's not a matter of davening for someone else so that you'll not be answered first, because then you're really davening for yourself. You're just using them as a pawn. You have to feel that pain. You have to really get into them and feel them and daven for them as them. Here we see actually the opposite end of that extreme, which I don't think a lot of people talk about, which is that if we ignore the pain and the tzaros of other people, then God forbid we might be the first ones to cry from it. When we think we're immune, we've been vaccinated. I'm not in the high-risk group. I live in Israel. I live in America. I live in this kind of, it's not me. It's not my city. It's not my age group. It's not my, that I'm not at risk. When we think that we're immune, that's perhaps even the bigger danger. Right? That's what we see from the story here in the plague in Egypt. Is this woman thought she's totally immune. She's got nothing left to lose. So I don't have to worry. You can talk about the whole land of Mitzrayim, but it's not going to affect me. It's not my life. I'm not a tour guide in Israel. I've got, Baruch Hashem, my income is, I own a makolet. I don't have to worry about your income. Or whatever it is. I don't have to worry about, there's so many different things. I'm married. I don't have to worry about singles. I have children, Baruch Hashem. I don't have to worry about other, it's okay, so I'll think about them, I'll daven for them. But to really empathize with the other people, I think this whole year, this whole plague, this whole epidemic that we've suffered has been opened up the concept, and it even became a debate, interestingly enough, about how much do we have to worry about somebody else? Do I have to wear a mask? I'm not in the risk category. So, okay, I wear it, but I don't have to wear, can I go to shul? But I need to go to shul, but it's me first or other people first. And then the flip side as well. Everybody has to stay locked down and the economy has to shut down. Okay, but that's no problem. It's not my fault that there's no tourists, they have to worry about me. I have to worry about them. And there's this challenge and this struggle where everybody at some way or another is struggling, and it's a matter of prioritizing. And everybody says, okay, I'm immune in this area. My income isn't hurt, but my health might be in danger, or the opposite. It's my emotions. I'm single. There's so many different ways it's interesting. I think the lesson almost really comes before the plague of the firstborn. The plague before the firstborn is the plague of darkness. Do you know what the plague of darkness is? The plague of darkness is that you buried your head in the sand and you didn't see anybody besides yourself. Right? Each Egyptian, it says, "V'lo ro ish esachiv." Each person didn't see his brother. The Hasidic Torah always says that that's the biggest plague of darkness, is when you don't see your brother, when all you see is yourself. There is no greater darkness than that, right? And when that light comes on and all of a sudden you see somebody and you realize how important it is, and how connected we are, how fundamental it is that I have somebody else and that I care for those people. That's the introduction to the plague of darkness, the plague of the firstborns. The plague of the firstborn is the plague of Choshech, the plague where we have to take our heads out of the sand. We have to see the light in each and every Jew, the light that they need to shine out in the world. And that could be shining out by living longer and davening for their health, shining out by having children, shining out by davening for them that they are, that they'll get married, shining out that they'll have their parnasa, thinking that their light is dependent on my light. And when we all are connected like that, then we will shine the greater light in the world, in the universe. That's really what we're supposed to do. The Jewish people, we had light in our houses. We're able to go ahead and to have that light because we care about it, because each person, each Jew lights that spark for the other one. So this is the message that we had, the last message that we got at the end of our exile, at the end of our exodus. Not to go ahead and to think I'm immune, not to think I've gotten vaccinated, not to think that everything is all right with me. If there are people out there suffering, if there are people out there that are challenged, we have to go ahead and to consider to daven for them first. And Amir Hashem, if we do that, then Amir Hashem will be zeichet merit, that after we read about this plague this week, the last plague will be merit to have the Karban Pesach coming up soon in Yerushalayim with the Geula Shlema. Thank you so much. Again, I want to remind you and enjoin you to join my Zoom class this coming Sunday. We've been having great turnouts for it. It's at 7:30 Israel time, 9:30 Seattle time, 12:30, I think, New York time on Sunday. We've been doing different Tanoim in Eretz Yisrael. This week we're going to be covering the incredible and holy Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. So please join us for that as well. Subscribe to my weekly email, Rabbi Schwartz at yahoo.com. And look forward to seeing you. Have a great Shabbos. I'll talk to you.